Hey everybody, McRodge here. Just something I wanted to throw out there, some food for thought. This is the Daily Fail, as some refer to the Daily Mail. They found a giant question mark in space. There it is. That's a very grainy shot of it. Here is a little bit better look at it, the wider perspective. The weird thing about this to me is it doesn't just kind of look like a question mark. It is a question mark. It's just a matter of what font did God use when he put this question mark out there in the middle of space. Some could argue it's pareidolia, right? When you recognize patterns that aren't really there. Some would say, the Horsehead Nebula is the same thing. Everybody sees a horse head, but it's not really a horse head. It just kind of resembles one, and we fill that extra information with our brains. But, I would argue that, of course, the Horsehead Nebula is pareidolia. It just kind of looks like a horse head. But this doesn't just kind of look like a question mark. It's a question mark, right? And so, is this just NASA messing with us? They've admitted that they Photoshop all of their pictures. They admit that they do touch-ups on many things, including these deep field, scans. They used to do it with the Hubble, and now this one was taken with the James Webb Telescope. And I mean, we're talking about this is on the scale of galaxies. We have spiral galaxies over here, stuff that looks like the Milky Way, and probably some supernovae and nebulae of sorts, and just a giant question mark chilling in the middle of space. Now, just coincidentally, the day after I found out about that 2 or 3 days ago, it's all over social media, and there are actual, scientific journals and space NASA type websites discussing this. This isn't just something that the Daily Fail made up or anything like that. My wife and I were watching Ted Lasso, and here he is. He's on some kind of psychedelic, I think, and he's supposed to be learning about himself and the secrets of the universe, and this question mark pops up, and it's even kind of the same color, right, as this question mark. It's orange, right, in both cases. I mean, this is a little bit lighter shade. It's peach, I guess you could call it. And it's floating out there in space, and an orange question mark pops up, and it's not exactly the same shape, but it's very similar. And it's just one of those funny coincidences that I happened to watch that episode a day or two after I learned of the question mark that's actually out there in space. And when that kind of stuff happens, you wonder, is this a God wink? Is he just kind of saying, yeah, it's a great big mystery out there, or is it that the people who give us these images are really just messing with us, and that's them dropping hints that that's what they're doing? And I'm not saying I don't believe in space. Of course I do. I'm not a flat earther, although the flat earthers ask some valid questions from time to time. Why is NASA lying about so many things? There's a picture of the James Webb Telescope that took that, supposedly. It's really beautiful, it's very interesting to think of all this stuff floating out there, including a giant question mark. And I've heard so many stories from people I've known and threads I've read on the web about things like a group of people. It's usually a small group of people. Like in one case, it was a guy and his brother and his father. They were standing in the ocean in knee-deep water, and they looked up, and they all three saw this sky full of stars one moment, and it blinked out. Every single star in the sky disappeared for a matter of a second or two, and then they clicked back on at the same time. And all three of them looked at each other just astonished. And from that moment on, they thought, wow, that must have been God just saying, none of this is real. None of this is what you think it is. Maybe it's a simulation. Maybe it's something else. Maybe, I don't know, the people who run the show like to have a little fun once in a while. There's a giant question mark in space. And you don't see other things that resemble letters or punctuation marks. I'm just saying. Love to know what is out there, right there, behind that. The world is weird.